Yes, my people, welcome back to another video on the Mids MB channel. And if you are a fan of football or the Premier League, then make sure you click the like button and subscribe, because today we are going to be talking about Liverpool. Now, Liverpool have had a great start to the season. However, there might be a couple cracks that are starting to show for Arne Slot's side. Now, listen, I'm not going to say that they're going to crumble and start losing every single game like a certain club in Manchester. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that I think there could be a potential turning point for Liverpool in the season. Now, of course, you can't talk about Liverpool this season without talking about the king, the Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah. Now, Salah is on track for an all-time of a season. He's actually on track to beat Thierry Henry's record of 20 assists in the Premier League. Now, regardless if Liverpool win the league or not, Salah is having himself an all-time season, and it might be up there one of the best Premier League seasons we've seen ever. Now, let's start with the contract situation at Liverpool, because first and foremost, I think it is absolutely poor that FSG has allowed three of their main stars, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Captain Virgil van Dijk, and Mohamed Salah, to all run down their contract up until June 2025. This means that from this month onwards, all three of them are free to negotiate with all clubs, any single club that they want. Any club can come in for them basically and say, here's a contract, we want you to sign it before your contract ends. And they're allowed to do so, which means that they'll leave Liverpool for absolutely nothing. But we're going to touch on that later on in the video. First thing I want to say is, like I said, Salah has been their main talisman for this season, and luckily he hasn't been injured. However, my only thought is that this over-reliance on Salah to continue to bring them back into games such as the games against Newcastle, games against Southampton, games against Arsenal, other teams in the league have faced them and put up a very good fight against Liverpool. However, in the dying minutes, Salah makes his presence known and has saved Liverpool either to hold them to a draw or to collect all 3 points. Now, don't get me wrong, Gakpo on the left-hand side has been doing incredibly well under Arne Slot in comparison to how he was doing under Jurgen Klopp, and he's really looking like he's finding his feet and continuing that form that we saw in the Euros. Luis Diaz, again, another player off the left-hand side who's pitching in with the goals every now and then, but he's still doing okay. Now, Darwin Núñez, according to the stats, has been underperforming his XG by 2.3. That means that he should have at least 2.3 more goals than he does right now. And we all see it when Darwin Núñez plays. He gets into the positions, he makes the runs. But for some reason, when it comes to the finishing, he just can't put the ball in the back of the net. Not to mention that only signing in the summer window, Federico Chiesa, has struggled to stay fit and is yet to make his Premier League debut. I don't think I've actually seen him in the Premier League. He scored his first goal for Liverpool against Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup, and I'm not going to lie to you, that was a hoop sesh. Everybody was scoring, everybody was eating. They ended up beating Accrington Stanley 4-0. What I'm getting at is that I feel like the goals need to come from elsewhere in the team as well. And if Salah does unfortunately get injured, I'm not sure who's going to pick up the slack. Now, according to the stats over at FBref, Salah has contributed to 66% of Liverpool's goals this season so far. A huge 2/3 that potentially could go missing if he does get injured, or if his form does start to slow down, which we have seen in the Premier League before. Now, like I said, Salah's on track for an all-timer season, but if he does get injured or, he's starting to slow down, where are the goals going to come from in the team? And now back onto the contract situation. I feel like all three of these players have taken a very different approach to how they're going to handle the situation with Liverpool. Now, first up, we have the silent one. And the silent one is Virgil van Dijk. And probably leading from example as the captain, not saying anything to the media, not, negotiating with clubs or there's any sort of speculation around that. He's just simply doing his job, focusing on the game that's happening on the weekend and putting in performances for Liverpool. Now, there are apparently already stories of him and Arne Slot having advances in their contract negotiations. Still nothing signed, but it's looking quite positive. And you could say that Virgil van Dijk has probably been, I don't know, the most professional out of all of them, or at least conducting themselves in the best way possible. Up next, we have the talker. And the reason why I say the talker is because Salah cannot hold on to his lips. When I was in Sunday school and they told you to be quiet, they used to do hold your lips. And Salah, after every single game, okay, maybe not every single game, but after a lot of the games, he's spoken to the media and said, yeah, nothing's up on the contract. Oh, this is going to be my last year in the club. And he just keeps adding more fuel to the fire. Now, again, they can't necessarily, I guess, get onto him as much, the Liverpool fans, because like I said, he's putting up incredible numbers and saving Liverpool's skin and carrying this title charge. But still, this does not help with Arne Slot, and it probably doesn't help the fans hearing Salah coming out after all of these games saying, yeah, you know what, it's the last one. It's the last time I'm going to be here at Anfield playing United, or the last time I'm going to be in this derby. It's not settling, and I think the more that the media continues to focus on it, especially Jamie Carragher, it's going to either provoke Salah to say things such like, why are you so obsessed with me? It's going to potentially add a bit more media, I guess, storm around the team and could potentially upset the dressing room as well. And we all know when it comes to any team that wants to go for a title or dethrone people who have been, winning the league consistently, that dressing room aura, that dressing room environment is vital to doing so. And I just think the more that, it comes out with him saying stuff after the game, and then Carragher, Neville, David, all the guys on Monday Night Football or Super Sunday dissecting it and saying, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. It could poison that environment that they have in the dressing room. And then last but not least, we have the scapegoat. And the reason I call Trent Alexander-Arnold the scapegoat is because I feel like over so many seasons, since he came into the league really and established himself as an elite right back, yes, his defending is poor. I will be very honest with you. However, I feel like right now, a lot of the hate that they're getting towards Trent, a lot of the hate I'm seeing online, it might not necessarily translate in Anfield from the fans, but the hate he's getting online is unwarranted. Because this is a player who is coming from the academy absolutely for nothing. He's proven himself in the league, not to say that, okay, yeah, I'm a stable right back, but now I'm an elite right back. I am taking set pieces, I'm scoring free kicks, the corner taken quickly. Winning that Champions League campaign, Trent was vital. And the time that they did win the league, Trent was moving mad. And I can't lie to you, I think he's been moving mad for the last 4 years consecutively. Say what you want to say about him not necessarily being the best when it comes to defending 1v1s against tricky dribblers, but he does do the job, and he has done the job when it mattered. I personally think this is Liverpool faults for allowing his contract to run so thin. When you think about the key players in this Liverpool team, you're going to say Salah, Alexander-Arnold, Trent, and Alisson. Those are the 4 players that are cornerstones and key to this team. So why would you allow their contracts to run so... I don't understand. I think maybe with the whole situation around the way Klopp left and the sort of abrupt announcement to say that he's going to leave last November, I think maybe because they weren't sure who they were going to get in, it might be hard to tie some of these stars down to longer contracts. But surely in the summer, you have to have some crunch talks and say to yourself, okay, now we have Arne Slot, we need to tie these guys down to a contract. And yes, Liverpool don't pay that much. I even saw Konate and Diaz, 2 key members to the first team, combined are on less than 150k a week, which is wild in today's age. But nevertheless, when you think about 3 key stars who have been performing for the last 5 years, you have to tie them down. And I'm sure that the money they're asking for probably isn't even too crazy, but might break the structure within Liverpool. But I think sometimes you have to break the structure to keep a hold of your best stars. Now, altogether, all of this talk about Trent going to Real Madrid submitting a bid, and then, the pundits doing what pundits do, over-analyzing, looking at things, maybe being cryptic in terms of maybe Jude Bellingham commenting on his pictures or liking his Instagram photos, all that type of stuff. All of that is going to derail and mess with players' heads, honestly. Like, I feel like sometimes as fans, we might say, oh yeah, but the professionals get over it. But when there's stars as big as Trent Alexander-Arnold, not only are you getting pressure from the media, from them scrutinizing your defending week in, week out, but now they're potentially calling you traitors and saying that, oh, Trent should stay, he should have some class, all that type of stuff. It could unsettle him. And I think we saw a bit of that unsettling against Manchester United. There were times in the game where Trent just looked unbothered. He just looked like he had, he zoned out. He just wasn't part of the game. And again, I'm not saying that all of this contract storm led to that, but it could potentially be a key factor. Now, lastly, the point I'm going to make is that Liverpool's recent performances, again, probably since the window has opened and a lot of the contract talk has gone from here to here in terms of the amount of media coverage around it, the amount of uncertainty, especially when it comes to Salah and Trent, I think their recent performances have been okay. It definitely hasn't been anything like the first 15 games of the season, but we could see a potential Liverpool slump. Now, what I'm going to say is the fixtures against Tottenham, against United, and even if we go as far back as them drawing at St. James's Park 2-2, some of these performances they're getting it over the line in terms of, getting a draw against Newcastle and United. But in that game, they had so many chances to score, and it looked like they just let the opposition in whenever they wanted. Against United especially, everyone thought that Liverpool were going to smash them 4-5-0. I was seeing it all over Twitter. But instead, United were the ones that walked away from that game thinking we should have won this. And from United, from the way they've been playing and just the differences in the two teams, not only from 1st to 14th, but those are some warning flags for Liverpool. Now, you add this to the fact that not only are they through to the next round of the FA Cup and EFL Cup, they've got a second leg, semi-final to play. Champions League is now ramping up as well. The fixtures are coming in thick and fast. We're seeing teams play 4 games within the space of 2 weeks, and I'm not going to lie, you need your best stars to be performing, and you need the squad depth with it too. Now, like I said when I made the point about the over-reliance on Salah, I don't know who else is going to come in for Salah. If Salah does pick up a knock for about a week or two, is Chiesa going to come in? Is he going to be match fit and hungry enough to want to make a difference? Can Liverpool rely on the rotation of Jota and Nunez? Can they rely on Diaz and Gakpo filling in when Salah isn't there? These are things that are, of course, an unknown, and I'm speaking hypothetically, but it's definitely something to factor in when thinking that Liverpool are going to go all the way to win the league and still be competitive on all fronts. Me personally, I think Liverpool most likely win the league, but the one thing that is going to cause them to not win the league, I think, out of all of the points I've made, is definitely all the talk around the contracts and talking about Trent and Salah week in, week out, regardless of the result. But like I said, this is just one of the reasons that I think Liverpool won't win the league if the media storm continues to go on and on and on, and Jamie Carragher continues to be obsessed with Mohamed Salah. But I want to know you guys' thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comments down below. Is my analysis correct? Is my analysis biased? Is it off? What do you think? Have I made some good points? And can you see Liverpool losing the league, even though they are 6 points clear of Arsenal and Nottingham Forest in second with a game in hand? I want to know all you guys' thoughts, so make sure you comment down below. Subscribe for more Premier League action, more Premier League analysis. And there's going to be a very, very good video coming up on screen right now that I think you'll enjoy just as much as you enjoyed this. But until then, MB United, I will see you when I see you. Peace.